Hello everyone, this is teacher Sara from phuketpals. Welcome to another GED RLA screencast. The topic of this lesson is subject-verb agreement. If you find this video useful, please hit the subscribe button below. It helps us help more people like you. Alright, so you already know that subjects and verbs are the basic components of a complete sentence. If that's something you're still confused with, you can look at my screencast for sentence fragments, and I talk all about what is needed for a sentence to be a sentence. Anyway, to do well on the GED Language Arts writing test, you must also understand how to write those subjects and verbs in their correct forms. Now, can you tell that something is wrong with the following sentence? Lee and Melva lives in a mountain community 65 miles from the nearest city. Alright, you can leave a comment below if you want us to see your answers. We'd love to hear from you, of course. Anyway, the answer here is that the problem is that the verb lives doesn't match the subject Lee and Melva. And is the key word here. In discussing language, when we talk about one thing, we call it singular, as in this sentence. A tree grows in the park. This sentence contains two singular nouns, tree and park. One of those nouns, tree, is the subject of the sentence. It means it's what's mainly being talked about. It's not about the park, it's that a tree that grows in the park. We can say the sentence has a singular subject, but if there's more than one tree in the park, the subject would be plural, such as when we say several trees grow in the park. It still doesn't change that the subject of this sentence is trees. Subject-verb agreements means that singular subjects take singular verbs and plural subjects take plural verbs. Such as, so in English, we usually make a noun plural by adding s or es to it, so tree becomes trees. A plural verb, however, never ends in s. Here is a sentence with a singular subject and verb. He is a personal pronoun that is singular, the same with I, she, and it. But as you all know, I is a very special personal pronoun because it follows the plural form, it follows a plural verb except for the verb to be, wherein it uses the verb am, whereas the others use is and are. Anyway, he goes to night school is the point here, that he is singular, and so the verb that follows has to be singular. You have to take note that plural verbs never end in s. The sentence here has a plural subject and verb. So Mark and Hakeem go to night school. You have two subjects in the sentence connected by the word and. They both go to night school. So since this is plural, the verb doesn't have an s. So a quick tip for that is if the subject has an s, the verb has no s. If the subject doesn't have an s, then I think I said the same thing. Anyway, Mark and Hakeem go to night school. If your subject has an s, then your verb doesn't have an s. If your subject has no s, then your verb has an s. I hope that makes sense. Remember that compound subjects are two words linked by and. They always take plural verbs. So Naomi and Sierra sell hot dogs from a corner stand. So you have two subjects, Naomi and Sierra. They both sell hot dogs. If the sentence has one subject and two verbs, be sure both verbs agree with the subject, such as in every month a firefighter speaks to our club and shows slides. So these two verbs follow the same subject. They are both predicates to this subject. So a firefighter doesn't only speak to the club, but he also or she also shows slides. Let's do a bit of practice here. Choose the correct verb from the pair in each of the following sentences. You can leave your answers below and we'll check them for you. Number 1, Bruce Lee was or were a good actor. So, notice that this is a past tense, a simple past tense verb. If your answer is was, then you are correct because were is used for plural nouns. They cheer or cheers for different teams. You are correct. Cheer is the best answer here. Flashing yellow lights warn or warns drivers of road hazards. S here, no S here. Correct. Four-way stops confuse or confuses some drivers. Confuse is the right answer. S here, no S here. Elsa takes the bus everywhere. Maybe with Anna. All right, so Elsa takes the bus everywhere. Correct the following sentences for subject-verb agreement. Some sentences may not contain errors. Charles plays card games with his friends and sometimes he wins. My brain automatically corrects these. So Charles, even though this has an S, the name Charles already has an S with it. So it's not that Charles is a plural for Charles. It's not that there's more than one Charles. It's just that the name is Charles. So Charles plays card games with his friends and sometimes he wins, right? So this is also a personal pronoun that you must watch out for, so he wins. Michelle seemed to win every time she played. If your answer is Michelle seems to win every time she plays, then you are correct. Carla enjoys her job at the hardware store. That is a correct sentence and it doesn't need any changes. Computers scare my mother. Scares my mother too. If your answer is that it is a correct sentence, then you are correct. Your subject here is computers and not mother. It's the computers that scare mother, not mother scares the computers. The computer or computers. Mr. Chan hates long lines and becomes impatient in them. If you think that the answer is hates, then you are correct and we keep becomes the same way. Mr. Chan hates long lines and becomes impatient in them. Here's another one. Strikes is the most powerful weapon workers have against unfair treatment by employers. Strikes usually occur over wages, but working conditions can also be a source of dissatisfaction for laborers. When all negotiation attempts fails, labor union members may vote to strike. This means they stop work so that the employer will lose money. The hope are that this tactic will force the employer to meet their standards. They gamble that the employer would rather give in to them than risk the financial ruin of the company. Strikes can last for weeks or even months and can be a severe hardship to the striking workers as well as to the company they work for. The economic impact of these battles of will between labor and management can be felt in communities or across the nation for a long time. Here is your question. Sentence 1. Strikes is the most powerful weapon workers have against unfair treatment by employers. What correction should be made to this sentence? Give you a few seconds. Again, you can pause this video and you can of course leave your comments below and we'll be happy to look at them. You can also leave us some love. That's always appreciated. So, if your answer is number 1, change is to are, then you are correct. Strikes are the most powerful weapon workers have against unfair treatment by employers. Question 12. Sentence 3. Here. When all negotiation attempts fails, labor union members may vote to strike. Which of the following is the best way to write the underlined portion of this sentence? If you think the original is the best way, select choice 1. I'm sure as I read it, you've already seen what's the matter with this sentence. So, if your answer is number 2, then you are correct. When all negotiation attempts fail, labor union members may vote to strike. And the last one is sentence 5. The hope are that this tactic will force the employer to meet their demands. What correction should be made to this sentence? If your answer is number 4, then you are correct. The hope is that this tactic will force the employer to meet their demands. Alright, and that's it from me, Teacher Sara. Thanks once again for being here today. If you would like to hear about any specific lesson that you are having some trouble with regards to the reasoning through language arts writing portion of the GED test, then please leave the comments below and we'll try to give that to you. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button, and of course, please share if this has been useful to you. Thank you so much, and see you next time.